Week 11 of the 2023 NFL season. Browns weekends, it is here. Get those brooms out, Coop. We're going to sweep these Cleveland Browns this weekend, and this time we do it on their home turf. Can't wait to break down today's news and rumors with you guys. First, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We got the Deshaun Watson injury. We got Dorian Thompson-Robinson. How does this dynamic impact this week's game for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Going to be answering all those questions, plus all the latest Steelers injury updates here on the show. Also, later in today's show, our final segment today, I'm going to be laying out the Steelers' playoff path. Starting at 6-3, this team is in a really good spot to make the postseason. Going to be going over the remaining schedule, which teams are in the hunt for the playoffs, and what the Steelers need to do to both make the playoffs and potentially even win the AFC North. And then, of course, as always, we got the Steelers Talk Live mailbag here. Use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat to get your question on today's show. Cannot wait to get things going here with you guys. And Mr. Jeffrey Cooperstein, our producer, how we doing, my friend?
Here we go, Steelers, here we go. Here we go, Steelers, here we go. Here we go, Steelers, here we go. I look forward to that every week, Mr. Sperry. It's an awesome Wednesday to be here. Let's talk some yins.
Let's talk some Steelers football today, my friend. So it's this weekend, Coop. It's Browns week, one of the most important weeks of the year.
It is.
Next week, we got Bengals week. So these next 2 weeks, very, very important for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward. Now with the Deshaun Watson injury news coming out today, he's going to be out for the rest of the season. He's getting shoulder surgery. It's going to be Dorian Thompson-Robinson, rookie out of UCLA and preseason legend, getting the start.
Dare I call this a must-win when you're facing Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Got to beat the Browns, dude.
Yeah, another thing that I will say here is that the Browns aren't going to have their 2 starting offensive tackles either, it looks like. DeJuan Jones looks like he's not going to be playing. Jedrick Wills is on injured reserve. So it's looking like T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith are maniacally laughing in the background, just waiting, licking their chops to get after this rookie quarterback, man. So definitely looking good for the Steelers in terms of their prospects. But let me tell you something right now, Coop. This is still not going to be a walk in the park. This Browns defense, still very good. The Steelers offense, as we know, has struggled. They've done better the last couple of weeks with the run game, so hopefully they can, Jalen Moore, Najee Harris, these guys can keep it going. But, man, I'm telling you right now, on the road, AFC North, this is still going to be a very physical football game, and you can't just simply chalk this one up as a W. You still got to come out and play good football.
Yeah, it'll be a difficult game for sure. It's still a division game as well, so you can never take those for granted, and you got to play the best of your abilities, and hopefully Kenny Pickett and the boys can get it done. Let us know who you got in the comments. I see Steelers Dad. I see Young Noticeable Artie.
If I see any Clevelands in there,
you're a fraud.
Just X out of this stream. You're not welcome here if you're saying Browns right now.
Damian Roy and Silas and Rashad and I believe that's Lane Smith. Let's go. Jeff Bowers as well. Here we go, baby. Let's go. And
What's up, everybody?
We got our first super chat of the day.
What's up, Hot Rod? He says Browns fans are cocky on X this week. It's funny.
It's funny you say that. I saw a tweet from our Browns Report host, Matthew Peterson, today, who was quoting Andrew Filipponi, I believe, who was talking crap about Deshaun Watson, and he was right, by the way, the worst contract in professional sports is Deshaun Watson's. And PD said, yeah, you guys have the worst QB in the division. Thing is, PD, Pickett's better than DTR, dude.
Yeah, at this point, he is, man, for sure. When it comes to the Deshaun Watson injury, Coop, it's like I don't want anybody to get hurt, all right? Not even the Browns. I don't even want the Browns to get hurt.
Oh, of course not.
But if anybody's going to get hurt and be out for the rest of the season, could it happen to any better player than Deshaun Watson?
I'm not happy that he's hurt. Am I sad?
No, I'm not. I'm not sad at all. Not at all. Am I sad for Browns fans today?
Have you seen the?
Hell no, I'm not sad.
You know
for
the
Browns
Magic
fans.
Johnson meme?
I'm not sad. I'm not sad, man. These kids buy Deshaun Watson jerseys. They bring their kids to training camp to get his freaking autograph.
That guy stinks.
These guys will simp out anything for a freaking Super Bowl. And, just the fact that they're not going to get it just makes it even more sweeter to me. Coop, could you actually turn down your mic in my ear real quick? It's a little loud. Thank you. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about today's sponsor for this live stream, and that is Prize Picks. And you know what? I've talked about Prize Picks a lot on this channel here over the last month or so. And let me tell you, man, ever since we started partnering with Prize Picks, because I know ball, I have made a ton of money putting entries in on Prize Picks. And if you know ball as well, you could make some money as well. If you're looking for a way to spice up your game days this NFL season, get started with Prize Picks. It's a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. And you might be asking yourselves, Jack, how does daily fantasy sports work? Well, here's how. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. So let's take a look at my entry for this week's game. I already have it locked in for the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take the more on passing yards with Kenny Pickett. He's only at 193.5. I think he gets more than that. Najee Harris with 90, I believe is 98.5. Rush yards, 48.5. Yeah, I took the less on that because I think Jaylen Warren is going to take more of a prominent role this week. And then 41.5 receiving yards for George Pickens. I think he's going to make at least 2 long catches, deep ball catches in this one. Give me the more on George Pickens. You can get started right away and check it out now at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. At Prize Picks, you aren't competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks that are just looking to take advantage of you. With Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. So get started right away. Get them in before the Steelers play the Browns on Sunday. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. All right, so now with the Browns likely out. Okay, so right now I think that because of the Deshaun Watson injury for this season, and they got Dorian Thompson-Robinson coming in, unless DTR straight up surprises everybody and shocks the world here, I really don't think the Browns are going to be in play for the AFC North. Right now, the Bengals sitting at 5-4, still a good football team, probably still have a shot at the division. Right now, Baltimore certainly in control right now, sitting at 7-3, but the Steelers are just a half game out right now. If you can win against these Cleveland Clowns this week, you can get to 7-3, really puts yourselves in a good position to potentially make a run for the AFC North. But let me know down in the comment section. We'll give some shout-outs right now. We'll give some shout-outs here. Scale of 0 to 100. What is the percent chance that the Steelers win the AFC North? Sean E. is very confident. Gives them an 80% chance.
I'm going to put it at like 30. It's not impossible. I wouldn't say it's likely, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would say unless Kenny Pickett and the Steelers' passing offense takes a major step forward, I can't give them too high of a shot.
If Kenny played the first 3 quarters like he did the 4th quarter, the Steelers would win the division.
Oh, easily, because Kenny Pickett's a top 10 NFL quarterback in the 4th quarters. So if he's doing that for all 4 quarters, you have a top 10 NFL quarterback with the run game that you have, with the defense that you have, with the head coach that you have. This would be the number 1 seed in the AFC. Right up there with Kansas City, right up there with Baltimore. I mean, right now, I think at this point in the season, I would probably give them a 15-20% chance to win it. And that's just based on what I know with the passing game right now. Baltimore is just more versatile. It can beat you in more ways. The Steelers right now, I think they're definitely a playoff contender. I'm really hoping for a wild card berth right now. But as we'll get into the playoff picture later, it's going to be really, really tough for the Pittsburgh Steelers to win the division this year. Really hope they turn it around, though. Hopefully Kenny Pickett, towards the end of this season, really solidifies himself as the franchise quarterback here and wins us the division this year. That'd be absolutely bloody fantastic. But am I going to call it a likelihood at this point? I'm going to say that it's an 80% chance.
It would be bloody fantastic.
It'd be bloody fantastic,
I love it.
man. Okay.
Moses says 10,000%.
10,000, and he says you heard me. We definitely heard you, my friend.
CM Punk 65-85. Steelers at 85. Hot Rod 78. 60, 35, 45. We're all across the board here.
Dude, people are feeling confident
after
these last 2 wins. I mean, I'm telling you, people are feeling confident. The run game is going. And let me tell you something, man. With the run game, with the formula that they got going right now, with the run game, with the defense playing that the way it is, they're built to win in cold weather football games, right? They're built to win in January, in December, when it's cold outside.
When
they can run the football and they can create turnovers, and that's exactly what you got to do to win in those really crucial situations. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Steelers end up doing here. Really pulling for them. Really hope that they can win the AFC North this year. But, man, Baltimore's a pretty damn good football team this year, and so are the Bengals. But I guess we'll have to see how it all shakes out. The Browns are going to be last. Suck it, Petey. All right, now we get to the Super Chat menu here. If you want to get your question on today's mailbag, you can put your question in there. A $5 Super Chat will sing the Oh Canada song. $10, we're introducing this new thing for Browns.
We have a debut chant today.
We have a debut chant. It's called the We Hate the Browns chant.
We've worked on it a little bit. May not be perfect the first time.
So we want to get a couple reps in today so that we have it perfected.
We're ready for Sunday
afternoon, all right? So we're doing the new chant. Let me know right now. If somebody sends in a $10 Super Chat, we'll do the We Hate the Browns chant for you guys. It's really creative. Coop came up with it. Really, really good stuff. So if someone sends in a $10 Super Chat, we'll do that. $20, you'll get your name on the Steelers Hard Hat Hall of Fame. Let me tell you something, man. I think there's probably about 3, 4, maybe 5 more slots left on this. I mean, if you look at this helmet here, you can really see all the names on there. Both sides, it's completely full. All we really have left is the brim. So if you want to get your name on the helmet here, be a real one. Hard Hat Hall of Fame, $20. Plus, we'll do a We Hate the Browns shirt for $20.
Certainly.
Well, okay. And then if you put in $100 total, you get to join Steelers Talk Gold Club, the exclusive club, all the real ones here at Steelers Talk. So shout out here, Austin Tarth, Mo Love, Brian Love, Anthony Fuller, King Yenzer, Nathan Glass, James Lombardo, DJ V, Patty Gustafson, Elliptic 6, Alexander Watson, Zach Troy, Andrew, Jesse, Go Blue, Buckeye, Samuel Pugh, Hot Rod 24, Black and Gold Emperor 40, Lord Buddy Bear, Max Payne, Chad Corley, F1 Video Watcher, Steelers Dad, Jesper Jacob, and Nightmare. And then a special thank you to all of our Black Diamonds. These are the people that put in a $500 Super Chat total amount on one stream. Goodness gracious, these guys are crazy, man. But we appreciate all of our Black Diamonds here. So shout out to Samuel Pugh, F1 Video Watcher, Mr. Glass himself, Nathan Glass, Go Blue Buckeye, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliptic 6 there. I love it, man. Okay, so now before we get into our first segment today, I want to give out a name for free on the Steelers Hard Hat Hall of Fame. If you want to get your name on the Steelers Hard Hat Hall of Fame, spam W for the next 60 seconds if you want to beat the Cleveland Browns this week. If you hate the Cleveland Browns and you want to get your name on this hard hat right now,
spam it.
Spam those W's. I see Young Noticeable getting in there right away. Let's go.
Lane Smith Productions, Maintain, Illusion, Moses, DJ KJ, Robert, CM Punk, Jared. Let's go. Get those
W's in there. Let's go.
Also,
F the Browns.
F the Browns. F the Browns.
F the Browns.
I wanted to shout out Moses. He said, I have a serious question. Someone please answer me. Are Browns fans real?
They're very real, Moses. They're very real, and they're among the ugliest of God's creatures.
They're delusional.
They are ugly bumpkins.
Damian, Roy, Steve, Jared, Kermit is my God, Illusion, Braylon.
Keep them coming for
NC
the next 30 seconds.
Lane Smith, Robert Kirkpatrick, Damian, Roy.
What's up, DJ KJ, CM Punk, NC Productions, Kermit is my God. Let's go, man.
Boss man
Robert
James Yoder
Kirkpatrick,
says chat.
San Francisco. Come, David Sterling, get in there for the next 15 seconds. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get the free slot? Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's going to be Young Noticeable. Let's go, Young. I love it.
We have a surprise.
So we have a surprise guest here. It's our boss, James Yoder.
Really quick. I want to be very quick. Don't give time. It's a holiday season.
It is.
It is.
Holiday bonus for you.
Oh, boo! F the Browns! F the Browns! F the Browns! F the Browns! We're gonna figure out can we set that on fire?
Yeah, can we set this on fire, or
possible?
maybe scribble it out a little bit,
We will do something with that. Believe me. It's unbelievable. Don't you believe it?
Young Noticeable, you are now on the Hard Hat Hall of Fame. Let's go, man.
Let's ride, young noticeable.
Look at this gift that we just got. This sucks.
Yeah,
this is the ugliest piece of this. This sucks.
Guess what, Spare Dog?
Oh!
Let's go.
Party's getting started here on Steelers Talk. We got Steelers Dad, a Gold Club member with a $10 super chat. Let's go. You know what that means, Coop?
It's time. All right.
All right.
We've rehearsed this a little bit, so we'll see. All right, you ready?
Yep.
What do we think of shit?
Browns.
What do we think of Browns?
Shit.
Thank you.
That's all right.
We hate the Browns. We hate the Browns. We hate the Browns. We hate the Browns.
We hate the Browns.
We hate the Browns. We hate the Browns.
Let's go. Here we
We go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Let's go, man. I'm ready to get into our first segment today, Coop. Are we ready to get things going?
I just freaking hate the Cleveland Browns. Dude.
I hate the Browns. We hate the Browns. We hate the Browns. We hate the Browns. Let's go, man. All right. So make sure you click that thumbs up icon, like the stream.
We need to get to 40 likes before we start today's show.
If you hate the Cleveland Browns, we're going to see how many Cleveland Browns fans are in this chat right now. We're going to weed them out right now. Like the stream if you love the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if you love the Browns, don't touch anything, all right? Click that thumbs up icon.
If you love the Browns, I would love it if you actually left the stream.
Yeah, if you like the Browns,
Click that
please.
little X.
We don't want you here, man. We want none of your kind in this stream right now. This is only for Yinzers. This is only for the true Yinzers here. Only for winners. You know,
Okay, now here's something interesting. Caden, it looks like he has a Cleveland Cavaliers avatar, but he says, screw the Browns.
Screw the Browns. I mean, hey, I don't care if you're
I'm
from
with it.
Cleveland.
You can be
if you
from
say
Cleveland.
F the Browns,
You're
we're
one of
with
us.
you, my friend. All right, so coming up on today's show, the latest news and rumors, how the Deshaun Watson injury impacts the Steelers moving forward. Also, Steelers playoff path. I'm going to be breaking down the remainder of the schedule, breaking down the AFC North standings, and what the Steelers need to do to A, get into the playoffs, and B, win the AFC North here in 2023. And then also make sure you get your questions in for the mailbag today. I'm going to be answering your questions. Make sure you use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat. Every $10 Super Chat we get today, we're going to be doing a We Hate the Browns chant. $5 we'll sing Oh Canada. $20 get your name on the helmet. So make sure you get those Super Chats in. Make sure you get those questions in for today's mailbag. Coop, are we ready to get things going here?
The question is, are you ready?
I am 100% ready to go. Let's get into this
Browns.
first segment, the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Today's edition of Steelers Talk is sponsored by RexMD. Go to rexmd.com/chat for up to 95% off generic Viagra or Cialis, plus get a free gift. All right, now let's jump into today's news and rumors. Of course, the biggest story in Steelers Nation today, let's call it, is that Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson is going to miss the rest of the 2023 NFL season with a shoulder injury. He suffered it last week in their win over the Baltimore Ravens, and now he's going to require surgery here, which really puts a damper on the Cleveland Browns' playoff hopes here, and definitely puts a dash in any hope of them winning the AFC North here in 2023. Deshaun wasn't playing all that well before his injury. If I'm being completely honest with you, he was probably a bottom 10 starting quarterback. But now you go from Deshaun Watson to now fifth-round rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson out of University of California, Los Angeles, will be the starting quarterback for them moving forward, starting with this week's game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, DTR was really good in the preseason. He was one of the MVPs of the preseason, was really lighting it up. But then when he got a chance to start against the Baltimore Ravens, and granted, this is a very good defense here with the Baltimore Ravens, DTR didn't look all that great. 19-36 for 121 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Now he gets the chance to start here for the Cleveland Browns, presumably for the rest of the season, or at least until the Browns can conjure up something and bring in someone on the free agent market. Now, even though I do think going from Deshaun Watson to DTR is a step down for the Browns, and it does give the Steelers a higher chance of winning this football game here in Week 11, I really don't think the dynamic of the game itself is going to change. I still think it's going to be relatively close. I still think it's going to be massively physical. I still think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter and which team is able to make the big play. And I think the big thing in this football game is going to be which team doesn't make the big mistake. The Steelers have done a really good job of staying away from mistakes and causing mistakes from other teams. So I still think the Steelers are going to win, but I definitely don't think you can chalk this one up as an automatic W at this point in the year. Cleveland still has a really good defense. They've got a decent run game. Of course, they got a pretty darn good offensive line. They still have Amari Cooper, and DTR did look pretty good in the preseason. So it's definitely not a foregone conclusion that the Steelers are going to win this football game. Not in the slightest, in my opinion. So I think that moving forward, you got to look forward to the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this football game in a matter of the same way here. You got to win the football game by not turning the football over. You got to win the football game by getting after the quarterback. The Browns aren't going to have their starting offensive tackle duo, right? So I'm looking forward to what the Steelers are going to be able to do this weekend, but don't just simply chalk it up as a W. Now, let me know down there in the comments section, what is your confidence level in a Steelers win this weekend on a scale of 1 to 10? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So whenever YouTube throws you an ad break here, it's going to happen here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by giving me your confidence level in a win this week. For me personally, I'm going to say a 7, all right? So I'm pretty darn confident that the Steelers are going to end up getting the victory, but you just never know in these AFC North matchups, especially on the road. We really don't know what we're going to get out of Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Are we going to get the preseason version of him, or are we going to get the Week 4 version of him? We're going to see. I still feel pretty confident in the Steelers win. I might even bump this up to an 8 here, but don't just simply say the Steelers are going to 100% walk away with a victory here. Now, before we get into the rest of our content today, I want to tell you about our sponsor at Rex MD. And fellas, do you sometimes lack confidence in the bedroom? Do you wish you could have a more fulfilling sex life? Well, you're not alone in that. And that's why we're excited to tell you about our sponsor today, Rex MD, the online source for men's wellness. At Rex MD offers an easy and discreet way to get your medication you need for ED without having to visit a doctor's office. With just a few clicks, you can have your medication delivered straight to your door and at a fraction of the cost of a traditional pharmacy. RexMD's team of licensed physicians will work with you to find the right treatment plan, and their medication is made right here in the United States of America, so you can trust its quality. Plus, their customer support team is available 24/7 to answer any questions or concerns you may have. So if you're ready to take control of your sex life and say goodbye to ED, head on over to rexmd.com/chat and start your consultation today. Take advantage of their best deal that they've ever offered and get up to 95% off RexMD plus a free gift with our exclusive link, rexmd.com/chat. Go to rexmd.com/chat for this limited time deal. Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for our listeners to get started. That's rexmd.com/chat for up to 95% off plus a free gift. Now let's shift to Mike Tomlin, where in his weekly press conference here on Tuesday, he talked about Kenny Pickett and how he, quote-unquote, certainly needs to see more from the second-year quarterback moving forward. This is what Coach T had to say about his starting quarterback. Certainly, man, we're going to need more, particularly as this road narrows. But guys like Kenny and myself, man, we're measured by wins and losses. He and I talk about that often and openly. We know what our jobs are. Our jobs are to win. That's where we are. That's where our focus is. I love the fact that Pickett embraces that. Down in and down out. Are there some things to work on? Certainly. But it's not like we're going to start on Wednesday working on those things. We've been working on those things, and we will continue until we get the desired result. And listen, man, I really do appreciate this approach from Coach T, where he's not going to lie to you and tell you that Kenny Pickett has been lighting it up or has been absolutely fantastic and has completely had that breakout season that we expected from him. But he's also talking about him in a manner that still shows that he believes in the young man and still thinks that he can develop as his career unfolds. You look at his advanced stats so far this year, as a total, it's just not that great, guys. We just have to acknowledge the reality, right? The catchable ball percentage, non-target percentage, just, it's not great. Bottom 10 in the league in both categories. There's even some backups right now that are more accurate than Kenny Pickett, unfortunately. And then the rating is 29th. His expected points added, negative 39.72. That's 32nd. And then the points above replacement is even lower at negative 7.5. However, in the fourth quarter, this kid magically turns into a top 10 quarterback. The accuracy goes up to a top 10 level. Top 5 if you're looking at the top on-target percentage. He goes top 5 in quarterback rating. He's top 5 in expected points added, and then he's in the top 10 in points above replacement. So when the lights are brightest, Kenny Pickett absolutely shows up, and that shows in the game-winning drive stat throughout his career. This young man has started just 21 games in the NFL. In 7 of those games, a third of those football games, he has led a game-winning drive. That is among the best when it comes to quarterbacks entering the NFL. I mean, just not many quarterbacks have that kind of moxie, that kind of clutch factor. And that's exactly what Kenny Pickett has. And because of that, because he has that moxie, because he has that ability to make plays when, or to play his best when his best is required, that definitely shows me that he's, you should be giving him a shot here. You should be giving him the chance to prove himself, especially throughout the rest of this season. Because, I mean, this kind of moxie, this kind of clutch factor, you just don't see it in quarterbacks every day, man. And, the last person that I can think of that was this bad in the first 3 quarters and then turned it on in the fourth quarter was freaking Tim Tebow. There's really nobody else that I can think of to compare to Kenny Pickett at this point. And, when I look at a guy like Kenny Pickett, I think that he has way more potential than Tim Tebow ever had to develop in those first 3 quarters. So if Kenny can just play in the first 3 quarters like he can in the fourth quarter, this kid's going to be a franchise quarterback in this league, and I still think he has the potential to potentially get there, especially if he gets the right offensive play caller. All right, now before I go over the rest of today's Steelers news and rumors, if you want more from me on Twitter, you can check me out at Jack_Sperry. I'm going to be putting up my Kenny Pickett film analysis from last week's game on my Twitter, so if you want to check that out, go ahead, give me a follow right now at Jack_Sperry. Now, before I go here, I do have some final news items that I want to discuss with you guys here on this beautiful Wednesday. And I want to start with Minkah Fitzpatrick and his injury status, because last week we thought that he could potentially make it back against the Packers. Now, this week, Mike Tomlin sounds like it's probably not going to happen even this week for Minkah Fitzpatrick, as he's still battling that hamstring injury. And usually when Mike Tomlin says a guy is battling an injury, they end up not playing. So I know that you got Dorian Thompson-Robinson as the quarterback, right? The Browns probably aren't going to be moving the football, at least that efficiently, so I guess it's okay for Minkah to miss another week. It's still a little bit concerning here because we need him back ASAP here in Pittsburgh. And then another injury here, this one more good news. It's going to be Pat Freiermuth, tight end here, who's missed the last couple of weeks with a hamstring injury himself. Looks like he's going to be able to play versus the Cleveland Browns here in Week 11, which is absolutely fantastic. I've been underwhelmed by Connor Hayward as the wide tight end here in Pittsburgh in his absence. So getting a true receiving threat in the middle of the field that Kenny Pickett trusts, I think will be absolutely huge for the Steelers offense moving forward. And then, there's another thing here where we've been talking about throughout the week after Cole Holcomb and Quan Alexander both are now down for the season. We're like, hey, we've been discussing which linebackers could they bring in. It looks like the Steelers are going to be sticking with what they have at inside linebacker. You got a Landon Roberts, you got Mark Robinson, Tariq Carpenter, and Michael Walker. They also added another linebacker today to the practice squad. Blanking on his name right now, but he's a rookie, comes from Memphis. He's going to be on the practice squad, so it's going to be interesting to see if he even gets elevated to play some snaps here. Michael Walker has been talking with coaches and the press saying that he's probably going to be playing quite a bit this weekend, and I'm very intrigued to see what Mark Robinson is going to be able to do in a true Tyler Murray. Thank you, Coop. Tyler Murray is the linebacker that just got added to the practice squad. I mean, I can't wait to see what Mark Robinson is going to be able to do as a starter. He's a thumper. Really want to see how he holds up in pass coverage. And now let's talk a little bit about Jaylen Warren. You guys know how much I love Jaylen Warren if you watch the show. He is a bulldog. He's very versatile. He can beat you in a lot of ways. And he was introduced last week at Acrisure Stadium as the starting running back. Now, on the official Steelers depth chart, it still says it's Najee Harris. But, I definitely think that Jaylen Warren is trending to become the new Steelers RB1 here, especially as the season continues, because every time this kid gets the opportunity to prove himself, he does, whether it's as a pass blocker, whether it's as a rusher, whether it's as somebody that's asked to get a 3rd-and-1 conversion. This guy can do pretty much everything that you want a running back to do, and he just does it at a higher level than what Najee is able to do right now. I like what Najee's been able to do the last couple of weeks. The run game as a whole has been really nice, but when it comes to the Thunder and Lightning pairing here, I'd rather go with the Lightning than the Thunder as my number 1 option, and I think Jaylen Warren has absolutely earned that RB1 designation. Now, fill in the blank for me down there in the comments section. Jaylen Warren is the blank best player on the Steelers offense right now, okay? Let me know. Is he the 2nd best? Is he the 3rd best, 4th best? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Fill in the blank for me down there in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel here and help us beat the Browns here. So before we say goodbye here, do me a favor, click that subscribe button. We're currently in the middle of a sub battle with our friends here at the Browns Report, our sister channel here at Chat Sports. And this is what Browns Report host Matthew Peterson has to say about Steelers fans.
In 2020, and who destroyed that season for you? The Browns in Pittsburgh. And this year, you know you are the biggest fraudulent 6-3 team, and just like in 2020, the Browns are going to expose you yet again. Fuck the Steelers. Let's go Brownies. Steelers fans, you got
Matthew Peterson has absolutely no respect for the Pittsburgh Steelers, their fans, or the 6 championships that his Cleveland Browns currently do not have even one of, all right? So these Cleveland Browns fans, they love to talk crap. They like to say how much Steelers fans are so cocky and talk so much shit. I have not heard so much trash talk from a single person in my entire life. So help us beat this clown right now by clicking that subscribe button and help us beat the Browns this week. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Make sure you click that subscribe button again to help us beat the Browns and for more Browns Week coverage throughout the week. All right, first segment done here. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because Matthew Peterson has no respect for us, the Steelers fans, or our franchise here, and we need to beat these guys. We have never lost a subscriber battle to the Cleveland Browns Report, and we're not going to start this week.
Did you hear how his voice was gone because he was yelling? He was so happy that the Browns won last week because it doesn't happen very often.
And by the way, he was in shambles this morning when he got the news about Deshaun Watson.
Oh, he was very mad. I texted him this morning. I woke up and I said, LOL, did you see what happened to Deshaun?
Yeah.
And he just texted me. He said, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in shambles right now. I'm not going to say I'm happy about the way that he's feeling right now.
I ain't going to say I'm not.
But I'm not sad. I can't say I'm sad about it, my friends. All right, so let me know. Jaylen Warren is the blank best player in the Steelers offense right now. Let me know, Coop. What do you think?
I'm trying to do the math, so I think it's Pickens and Johnson are 1 and 2. Is Warren 3?
Is Johnson 3? Warren 2?
Maybe. Maybe.
I would put Warren 3rd right now, personally. I'd put Warren 3rd. I'd put George Pickens 1. I'd put DJ 2. I'd put Warren 3. Probably Pat Freiermuth 4.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Isaac Seumalo has to be in that mix too.
That makes sense.
He's pretty good. I don't know, man. I think I'm going to go with 3. I think that he's still the 3rd best player on this offense. We're coming up here, we got the Steelers Talk Mailbag. So if you want to get a question on today's show, make sure you use #Steelers or Super Chat like our friend here, Hot Rod 24. What's up, Hot Rod? Says he forgets that Mayfield led that 2020 team. That is true. And Big Ben, I mean, I love Big Ben, all right? I'm just going to say this right now. But the last 2 years of his career,
he was cooked.
By the end of the year, he could barely throw it 20 yards, all right? So, I mean, I don't know if it's much of a brag to say that you beat a geriatric Ben Roethlisberger in the playoffs. I'm just not sure if that's much of a brag from the Cleveland Browns. And by the way, that's the only brag that they have. The Steelers have what? The Steelers are dominating the all-time record. They have 6 championships to the Browns 0 in terms of Super Bowls. I mean, what is there to say? I mean, look at the freaking losing records over the last decade. I think Cleveland has 9 of them or 10 of them. I mean, it's just been absolutely ridiculous from these Cleveland Browns fans. I am hearing so much shit on Twitter and on YouTube from these fans that think that they're better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they're not. There's no argument to say that they are, yet they're out there making that claim.
They're delusional, like we said earlier. Like our CEO, James Yoder, delusional Browns fans are going to be delusional Browns fans. It is what it is.
Matt Hyde says Broderick Jones is the best player on offense already.
He's up there.
I like Broderick Jones, man. I think that he's
up
played
there.
really, really well. He's completely transformed this run game.
Now, what about Pat Freiermuth?
I really like Pat Freiermuth too, but like, if I'd have to choose between having Jalen Warren on the team or Pat Freiermuth, I'm picking Jalen Warren.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Am I crazy to say that?
No,
to say that I want
agree.
Jalen Warren over Pat Freiermuth? Now, Broderick Jones or Pat Freiermuth? I'm probably going Broderick. I think slightly Broderick. And
Make sure you guys use hashtag Steelers. We need some more questions for our mailbag, so please use them.
all right, we need some more questions here. So if you got a question on the Steelers, anything, you want to give me a trade prediction, you want to give me a free agency prediction for this offseason, if there's a player in free agency you want to go sign, got a question for me, let me know down there in the chat, hashtag Steelers or super chat to get us going here today.
Cassie says she's at home with 5 sleeping dogs.
Yep, we got 4 strays, and then we've got 1 regular dog right now.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see over these next couple of days because we got them till like Sunday, I think.
She said she's thriving with the pups, though.
Oh, I'm sure she's thriving. She's always thriving when she's around dogs, man. All right, so make sure you get those questions in. How many more do we need?
We need like 3 or 4 more.
All right, we need 3 or 4 more questions here. So get those questions in. If you got something to ask, you want to get on the show, send in those questions, and we'll answer them here on the show coming up in about 2 or 3 minutes. Really do appreciate your guys' support. Make sure you click that thumbs up icon because right now we got 128 people watching, 65 likes, which means we have about half of the audience that like the Cleveland Browns here. Which is just, I mean, that's
a little
scary.
weird.
That's scary. Why are 60
weird.
plus Browns fans watching this stream? It makes no sense. If you love the Pittsburgh Steelers and you hate the Browns, make sure you click that subscribe button. Make sure you click that thumbs up icon as well.
All right, I think we can get away with it here. Let me double check. I see 1, 2. Yeah, we'll be all right.
All right, we'll be good here. We're going to get into this mailbag.
Keep asking your questions, though.
Keep asking the questions. We'll get them into the mailbag here. But we're going to get things started coming up right now here on this week's Steelers Talk Mailbag. It is Week 11 in the 2023 NFL season, and today I'm answering your questions on the Pittsburgh Steelers. But before I get into that, make sure you join the most interactive Steelers community here on YouTube. We've added over 2,000 subscribers to our family here in just the last couple of weeks. Thank you to everybody that has joined. You can be next year. Click that subscribe button right now because we do these mailbags every week, and you can have your voice heard every single week here on Steelers Talk. All right, now I'll stop and open things up for questions, starting with Young Noticeable 25. Says, Jack, could you please explain to me how the Bills fired their OC midseason before Matt Canada? And is he a potential replacement? All right, so let's get into the Ken Dorsey conversation here, Coop. So Ken Dorsey, I thought was okay. I thought he was okay as an offensive coordinator. He wasn't the best at scheming things up for the Bills in the red zone, but overall his offense was pretty decent. So would I take him over Matt Canada if the Steelers decided to hire him? 100%. However, there are other people that I would rather have. I would rather go out and get somebody from the Shanahan tree, like someone like Darrell Bevell, the QB coach in Miami, or maybe a Chris Forster, run game coordinator from San Francisco. I want to go get somebody like that because I think that would be a great offense for Kenny Pickett. I think it'd be great I think it's just the most architecturally sound offensive structure currently in the National Football League. And, you know, he's kind of in the category of like Byron Leftwich, Josh McDaniels to me, you know, where it's like, okay, I would take him, but I would still much rather have some other people here that I think would be better fits for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward. Then in terms of getting rid of him before Canada, I mean, what can I say, man? The Pittsburgh Steelers are just going to ride or die with this motherfucker, man. I don't know what else to say. Other than that, I mean, it's just kind of weird that it is what it is, says producer Coop. So who do you want to replace Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator? Let me know down there in the comments section who you guys think should be the next OC of the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, so now we got one from Chris C. He says, what if we bring back Trey Edmonds? I mean, I think Edmonds was a good fit here. I really do think that. He had a very specific role to play. He kind of played what Keanu Neal is playing in this defense right now, kind of a hybrid linebacker, safety, strong safety type. So, if they brought him back, I wouldn't necessarily hate it. But, he is getting a little bit up there, right? He is getting a little bit older. He hasn't played quite as well over the last couple of years. So, although I think that he'd be a decent option if the Steelers were desperate, I mean, I guess we'll have to see if they want to bring him back, especially after letting him go in free agency. Then we got Hot Rod 24 here. It says, do we draft a quarterback in a later round this year to light a fire under Pickett? It worked for Rodgers. So with Rodgers, it was a first-round pick. They traded up for Jordan Love, and he ended up getting 2 straight MVPs there with the Green Bay Packers. So, if you want to – here's the thing, though. Are we even sure Pickett can play at that level that, like, Aaron Rodgers can certainly play at? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is here with Kenny Pickett. It's still too early to say with him. Playing really well in the fourth quarter. He's delivering victories for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you make the playoffs, you're probably just not going to move off of him. Maybe you move off of Matt Canada, but if you make the playoffs, you're not moving off of Tomlin. You're not moving off of Kenny Pickett. All right, that's just going to be the way that it is. Now, if the Steelers, kind of blow things up here and they don't make the playoffs, then maybe there's a conversation to be had about bringing in a veteran, maybe drafting a quarterback in the second or third round, something along those lines. But I definitely think at this point, I think the Steelers are going to stay loyal to Kenny Pickett unless something drastically changes. I think he's probably going to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers next year. So now we got DJ KJ here with a question. Says, what QB will the Steelers draft next year? I don't know. I'm not even sure if they will draft a quarterback, DJ KJ, especially if they make the playoffs. Like I just said to Hot Rod's question, Kenny Pickett, if he gets them to the playoffs, they don't really have a reason to move off of him, right? Their reason would be, what would their reason be? You get this team to the playoffs, now we're gonna, get rid of you after we drafted you in the first round. I just don't see that happening, especially not the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, if things blow up in the second half, I guess we can have a conversation. All right, so apparently somebody asked a question about a really juicy quarterback, and we're going to be talking about it right after this sponsor read from our sponsor here today, and that is Prize Picks. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. And if you're looking for a way to spice up your game days this NFL season, I couldn't recommend Prize Picks more right now. It is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. And if you know ball, you could absolutely make some money with Prize Picks today. Now, you might be asking yourself, how does this work, Jack? Well, here's how. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can even win up to 25 times your money on any entry. So let me take a look at my entry this weekend for the Browns and Steelers game. I got the more on Kenny Pickett passing yards. It's only at 193.5. I think he's going to get up to 200. I took the less on Najee Harris rushing yards because I think Jaylen Warren is going to be more of a featured back this week. So give me the less on Najee. Then we got the more on receiving yards for George Pickens. Right now he's at just 41.5. Get your picks in before the Steelers play the Browns this week by going to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. With Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. So get started right now. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. So we got one from Noah Hood here as Coop is clapping. Says we should draft Jaden Daniels, LSU quarterback, if Kenny doesn't significantly improve the rest of the season. What round do you think we would be able to snag him in? I would say at this point, probably second round. I think Jaden Daniels at this point in the process, and keep in mind, I haven't done my due diligence on everybody in the draft at this point. But based on what I've seen from Jaden Daniels, you could probably get him in the second round. But, is he going to sneak into the first? Is he going to be a high second? Is he going to make it to the Steelers pick in the second round? I really don't know. It really is too early to talk about draft stuff, especially when your team is sitting at 6-3 people. But Kenny Pickett, if he gets this team to the playoffs, I really don't think the Steelers are going to be looking towards drafting another quarterback unless there's one that significantly falls. and they just can't say no to the offer. All right, now we got one from Derek Thompson here. He says, if you were the Steelers GM, would you poach Anthony Barr off the Vikings practice squad right now? So, not this week, all right? So this video is going to be going out on Saturday. We're currently recording this during the Wednesday live show, just so you guys know that. But this week, no. Next week, if Mark Robinson ends up absolutely crapping the bed, if Tariq Carpenter and Mykal Walker and all these other guys just aren't living up to the Steelers' standard here, maybe I'd think about it next week, all right? But right now, I think that the Steelers are definitely staying put, I should say, with Landon Roberts, who's been really freaking good this year. Mark Robinson, somebody that, made some flashes during the preseason process this year. Really excited to see him play. And then Mykal Walker, good athlete. I guess we'll have to see how this linebacking group holds up. But, man, if it's ugly this week against the Browns, hell yeah, I'm going and getting Anthony Barr. So you be the GM right now. Should the Steelers poach Anthony Barr from the Vikings practice squad? You're Omar Khan. Make the decision right now. Type yes or no down there in the comment section. Then we got on from Anthony Remick. Says, does Levi even have a chance to stay with the Steelers? I mean, there's always a chance. I never say never, people, but hey, sorry, babe. Cassie, I know you're watching this. I know he's your favorite player, but this brother stinks, man. This guy is cooked. He's lost his wheels. He can't keep up with these speedy receivers anymore. He got cooked twice against the Packers. I mean, I'm kind of done with him, man. And after this season, what he's going to be asking for, he's still going to want to be paid like a starting corner in this league. There's no way in hell I am paying that. Now, if you want to bring him back on like a vet minimum deal to be a backup that knows this system, sure, why not? But is he coming back as a starter? No way in hell. Then we got one from Damian Roy. Says, does Matt Canada on the sidelines equal more wins? We're 2-0 so far. So I think that people are making kind of the wrong connection here, okay? So, there's two things that happened in that Thursday night football win over the Tennessee Titans, all right? Steelers have been 2-0 since then. A, Matt Canada goes to the sideline, and B, Broderick Jones starts at right tackle. Now, which one has more of an impact? I would argue Broderick Jones, because he's had more of a direct link that I can point to than having just a play caller on the sidelines. Now, does it have a little bit of an impact to have Canada on the sidelines? Sure, but having a guy like Broderick Jones, who I said even back during the draft process this past year, he's the best run-blocking offensive tackle in the draft, and we got him. And then you immediately put him in for Chucks, and this run offense is looking completely different. Before Chuck started, or before Broderick started, I should say, 66 rush yards per game. After he starts starting at right tackle, 186 rush yards per game. You tell me what the big difference is here. I really don't see the impact being Matt Canada on the sidelines. I see it more as Broderick Jones getting his shot at right tackle and improving the run game. Now make sure you like today's video if you're a real one. If you are Steelers Talk Real One and you're feeling generous today, you want to help us out here in the YouTube algorithm, click that thumbs up icon right now, and we'd really appreciate it. All right, we got one from Matt Hyde here. It says, do you think Joey Porter Jr. will do well against Amari Cooper? I do. I really do. I believe in this kid, man. This guy is dang good at football, especially when he's in press. And I know all these Browns fans are crying on Twitter, oh, he holds on every play. Shut up, man. Seriously. They're the best corners in the world know what they can get away with, and they do get away with it. That's what Joey Porter Jr. does. That's what Richard Sherman used to do back in the day. That's what Darrelle Revis used to do back in the day. The best press man corners are extra physical, and they get away with it. That's what Joey Porter Jr. is doing right now, and he's going to be going up against Amari Cooper, and I absolutely think he handled D-Hop, right? He's handled a bunch of these really, really high-end number one receivers in this league. I think he's going to do the same thing this week against Amari Cooper, and he's going to shut down this Cleveland Browns passing game. Then we go on from the Iron Curtain here. Says, what do you make of Coach T's comments on Kenny Pickett needing to do more? What are the chances that he isn't the Steelers quarterback next season? Again, we're talking about Kenny Pickett and potentially replacing him. Listen, I think if the Steelers can get an upgrade, and it's a legitimate upgrade over Kenny Pickett, I think that they should probably pull the trigger on that, right? But I think, if they make the playoffs, their options are going to be limited. All right, and I really don't think the Steelers are going to be trading away first-round draft picks, all these different things. It's just not really in the Steelers' DNA to do that kind of stuff. So I really do think it comes down to this. If Kenny Pickett plays well enough to get this team into the playoffs, I think he's going to be the quarterback next year. If they don't make it and they miss the playoffs this year after starting 6-3 and the stats just aren't bearing what you expect from a first-round quarterback, then I think you look at your options. But right now, I want to see Kenny play. I'm still optimistic. I love the fourth quarter numbers from the kid, so I'm still holding out hope. Now fill in the blank for me. Kenny Pickett is a top blank quarterback in the National Football League right now. Let me know your answer down there in the comments. Can't wait to see how you're feeling about QB1. That'll be it for this week's Mailbag. Yens, really do appreciate all of your support. Thank you for submitting your questions this week. Make sure you tune in to the Steelers Talk live show next week to get your question on next week's Mailbag. All right, so that's number 2 in the bag here, Coop.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to be getting into the Pittsburgh's path to the division crown here.
It's not impossible.
In just a second. It's not impossible. It's going to be difficult with Baltimore in this division and even Cincinnati. But I think there is a path for the Steelers to take home the AFC North crown this year. Going to let you know what the Steelers need to do to get that. But let's answer this question right now, Coop. Kenny Pickett is a top blank quarterback in the NFL right now.
I don't want to upset the Yins, but I'm going to say 20. I think that's fair.
I don't even think he's top 20.
Yeah, I mean, a 20 is a little optimistic. If we're talking
25,
I'll say this: if we were talking strictly fourth quarter, it's 10.
Yeah, he's a top 10 fourth quarter quarterback. So right now, I'd say top 25 if you're being generous.
Do I think he's a starting QB in this league right now? I do. Do I think he's a top half starting QB in this league right now? No.
Let's show his advanced numbers here real quick. Let's put those numbers up real quick because if you believe the numbers in the aggregate right now, Kenny Pickett is a bottom 5 quarterback in the National Football League. All right, so you look at those numbers right there. The best one of that bunch is the on-target percentage, which is 25th. That is still bottom 10 in the National Football League.
Not good.
And many of these, like look, catchable percentage, 34th. There's only 32 starting quarterbacks in this league, right? He's worse than some backups this year. Points above replacement. He's the 35th most valuable quarterback. There's some backups that are more valuable than Kenny Pickett right now. But this kid turns it on in the fourth quarter. When the defense keeps him in the football game, this kid, with the game on the line, I mean, it's like you pour water on him, and it's like he grows.
He's like a tree.
I just can't explain it. It's like magic with Kenny Pickett. If we can get this kind of production from Kenny in all 4 quarters moving forward, this guy's a franchise quarterback. He's a top 10 guy that can win a Super Bowl. This is the shining light, the golden light that's leading us towards the Super Bowl right now. If we can get these numbers out of Kenny Pickett all the time, the Steelers are going to be a freaking amazing football team, man. So right now, I'd have to put him top 25 if I'm being generous.
Yeah.
But he has the potential. We see it in the numbers to be a top 15, top 10 quarterback that can win you a Super Bowl.
Ben Bro says he's top 1.
The best quarterback in the league with 6 touchdowns through the first 10 weeks of the season.
It looks like the chat is pretty much saying he's somewhere between 15 and 25, and I think that's fair. I don't think he's 15. I don't think he's even close to 15, but
Lane Ewing right now says Kenny isn't a Super Bowl QB. And he
not.
might be right about that.
He's not right now.
He isn't one right now. What I'm saying is if he can get the fourth quarter production that we're getting out of him in all 3 quarters, all right, and I know that's a big if, but if he can do that, he's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback.
Agreed.
He's one of the most clutch QBs in the league since he entered. It's magic what he does in the fourth quarter.
It just makes no sense why he can't do it in the other 3 quarters. The fourth quarter is the hardest time to do it.
This is why the only comparison for him is Tim Tebow. It really is the only comparison because usually quarterbacks are better in the first 3 quarters, then they shrink in the fourth. With Kenny Pickett, it's the opposite. And the only person I've ever seen with that kind of skill set is Tim Tebow, who was straight up hot garbage until the game was on the line, and then he all of a sudden turned to John Elway.
This Kenny Pickett guy, man, he's got some real moxie, man.
He's got some moxie. He's got some balls. He's got some cojones
man
down there, man. So I'm optimistic, but I'm definitely cautiously optimistic. And this is where I've stood on Kenny Pickett for months. All right, I was killed by both sides this offseason because my take on Kenny Pickett heading into the year is A, he didn't show enough in his rookie season to really be deemed as the franchise quarterback, and B, I saw enough to be optimistic. I got called a Kenny Pickett apologist and a Kenny Pickett hater for that take.
You can't win.
I can't win. I'm trying to have a nuanced take here, and people are just like, "Oh my gosh, you either hate the kid or oh my gosh, you're right and you know what, right?" So I don't know, man. I'm still undecided on Kenny Pickett. I want to see the rest of the season unfold here. I want to see if this team makes the playoffs. I want to see.
We want him to succeed.
100%. I want him to be the franchise quarterback. I love me some Kenny Pickett, dude. He's a great kid. He works hard.
He's a true Yinzer.
He went to the University of Pittsburgh. I mean, the fans love him. The locker room loves him. And also, he delivers victories in the clutch. I mean, how many quarterbacks in the league can you really say are legitimately great in the clutch?
Not many.
There's not many. And Kenny Pickett has that quality. So he needs to get better, absolutely. But, he still has that potential in him. We see it in the fourth quarter. If he can just tap into that potential eventually, and maybe it's going to have to be getting a new offensive coordinator to do it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do it with Matt Canada, so we'll see what happens this offseason. I hope to God Tomlin fires Matt Canada and comes to his senses and then hires someone that can get the best out of him.
You know what the nightmare situation is, Coop? If they make the playoffs and they re-sign Matt Canada to a new contract, just imagine it.
I'm going to delete the channel if that happens.
What?
You guys won't see us ever again.
If Matt Canada gets a new
We're deleting
contract
the channel
from the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't know what I'll do.
I mean, I don't know. I literally don't know.
Ugh. Oh my God, man! I just can't even think about.
You've just put stress in my brain now thinking about that.
All right, let's stop thinking about that, and let's transition now to the Steelers' playoff path coming up here in just a second. Cooper, are we ready to get things going?
I think we are here. Just give one shout out to the Super Chat menu real quick.
All right, so last chance here if you want to get some Super Chats going. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. $5, we'll sing an "Oh Canada" song. $10, we'll do the "We hate the Browns, we hate the Browns" chant. And then we got the $20. You get to put your name on the Steelers Talk Hard Hat Hall of Fame. All right, or if you're already on the helmet, you could pick somebody else to put on there as well. And then Gold Club, if you're feeling really generous and want us to go crazy, $100 Super Chat, and you could absolutely do that as well. All right, so now, coming up here, Coop, we got the Steelers playoff path. Going to tell you how the Steelers make the playoffs, but also how they win the AFC North here in 2023.
We are playing the video from our mortal enemy in this one, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. Pretty early, I believe. All right. So I'm going to warn you right now. You're going to see a true loser in about 30 seconds.
Trigger warning.
And it's not me. Just a quick trigger warning. You're going to see a Browns fan on this screen here in about 30 seconds, all right? So don't say I didn't warn you. All right, let's get into this playoff picture vid coming at you right now. The Steelers are currently sitting at 6-3 and firmly entrenched in the AFC playoff picture with just 8 weeks to go. And today, I'm going to be breaking down the Steelers' path to the AFC playoffs and potentially if they could even win the AFC North division crown here in 2023. But before I break down the Steelers' path to the postseason, make sure you click that subscribe button right now to help us beat the Browns. We are currently in a sub-battle with our sister company here at Chat Sports, the Browns Report, and this is what the host of that show, Matthew Peterson, has to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers fans, you guys knew you were frauds back in 2020. And who destroyed that season for you? The Browns in Pittsburgh. And this year, you know you are the biggest fraudulent 6-3 team. And just like in 2020, the Browns are going to expose you yet again. Fuck the Steelers. Let's go Brownies.
This man hates the Steelers. He hates you, the fans. He has absolutely no respect for us as Yinzers. So to beat this man this week, if you're new to the channel, I ask you, I'll make a deal with you right now. Click that subscribe button. Help us beat the Browns report this week. We've never lost a sub battle in our existence. We're not starting now. And I'll tell you what, in a week, if you don't love our daily content here on Steelers Talk, you can click that unsubscribe button. That's how confident that you are going to absolutely love the content here on the channel. Help us beat the Browns right now by clicking that subscribe button right now. All right, so now let's discuss the AFC playoff picture right now, where the Kansas City Chiefs currently lead the entire AFC, sitting at 7-2. The Ravens currently atop the NFC or the AFC North at 7-3. The Jags winning the South at 6-3, and then also the Dolphins in the East at 6-3 as well. Right now, the Steelers currently hold the number 5 seed, the first wild card spot at 6-3. The Browns are right behind them at the 6th spot, and then the Houston Texans sitting at 5-4 with C.J. Stroud. Just in there right now. Cincinnati's right on their tail, also at 5-4. Indy's still there. Buffalo, Las Vegas. Chargers still have a shot as well. But overall, right now, the Steelers are sitting in a pretty darn good spot here at 6-3, which of course means that they are second place in the AFC North through the first 10 weeks of the year. And now with Deshaun Watson out for this game versus the Browns, it looks like the Steelers will have a really good chance to get to 7-3, which would be absolutely massive for the Pittsburgh Steelers and their chances to make the NFL postseason. And to me, I think you have to get to at least 10-7. If you get there, you're likely in the playoffs. Of course, last year there was a 9-8 team. That was the Miami Dolphins that ended up making the playoffs. The Steelers were at 9-8 last year and just missed out. So what I look at right now is that the Steelers, there's 3 games in their schedule, in their remaining schedule, and they're all in a row, by the way, that should absolutely be wins. Week 13 versus the Cardinals at home. The next week against the Patriots on Thursday Night Football. They're in absolute shambles. And then you go on the road to Indianapolis. If you win these 3 games, your floor is at 9-8. That means out of the rest of the games in the schedule, all you have to do is win one of those games to get to 10-7 and get your butt into the AFC playoffs this year. So right now, this week against the Browns, next week on the road against the Bengals. Of course, you play the Bengals again at home in Week 16. The Seahawks on the road in Week 17, and then you finish off the year with the Baltimore Ravens on the road. You win one of those games, along with those 3 games that you should win. You get to 10-7, and you get into the playoffs. Now, coming up next on today's show, can the Pittsburgh Steelers actually win the AFC North division over the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals? I'm going to give you my answer to that question here in just a second. But first, let me know down there in the comment section, will the Steelers make the playoffs here in 2023, or are they going to have a blow-up of massive proportions and miss? Type P if you think they're going to make the playoffs, or type M if you think they're going to miss. This is also going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Now, if we're speaking honestly here, I really do think because the Steelers have such a lack of a passing game right now, it's going to be really tough for the Steelers to win this division as things currently sit. So you take a look at the AFC North division standings right now. The Steelers are just a half game out of first place. They're sitting really, really good 10 weeks into the year. Okay, the Ravens are sitting at 7-3, but they're vulnerable. The Steelers play the Cleveland Browns without Deshaun Watson this week in Week 11. So the Steelers could absolutely move up a spot here and even take first place this week. But Cincinnati's sitting at 5-4, still a really good football team. They could still creep up as the season continues. And if you look at the remaining strength of schedule here, Cincinnati's got a really tough go of it. So they got the number 1 in the league, toughest strength of schedule the rest of the way. Baltimore's got a tough schedule as well at 5th. Pittsburgh does have the 17th hardest schedule. So, I mean, pretty decent the rest of the way. And then Cleveland, who cares about Cleveland? They're done anyway. But the AFC North odds right now has the Pittsburgh Steelers even lower than the Browns at this point, plus 120 for the Ravens, plus 225 for the Cleveland Browns, plus 450 for Cincinnati, and plus 550. So if you put in a $100 bet for the Steelers to win the division, you'd win $550 right now. And coming up here, I'm going to let you know what is the Steelers' path to winning that division crown this year. I'll let you guys know that here in just a second. But first, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Prize Picks. You can go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. And let me just tell you guys right now, I'll challenge you guys. If you know ball, you can make some serious money here with Prize Picks, which is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. You might be asking yourselves, Jack, how does daily fantasy sports work? Well, here's how. Pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their prize picks projection, you can even win 25 times your money on any entry. So let's take a look at my picks for this week's game versus the Cleveland Browns. I got the more on Kenny Pickett passing yards. He's only at 193.5. I think he gets up to at least 200 this week. I got the less on Najee Harris because I think Jaylen Warren is going to pop off this week. Then also I got the more on George Pickens receiving yards because I think he's going to have a pair of really nice catches, hopefully a touchdown too this week against Cleveland. You can check it out now and get your picks in before the Steelers line it up against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100 today. With Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. So get started right now. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. So now the big question right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers and our fans is, can we actually pull this off? Can we actually get to a place where we are first place in the AFC North and we finish the season there? There's definitely a roadmap there, but I think the Steelers are going to have to get to at least 12 wins because you look at this division right now, the Ravens, Cincinnati's a really good team as well, but really the Ravens is going to be the real sticking point here. I think the Ravens are going to be a 12-13 win football team right now. And if you're the Steelers, I think you have to get to at least 12 wins to put yourself in contention for the division crown. And the road to 12-5 at this point. Of course, you got to win all of your should-be wins, right? The Cardinals, Patriots, Colts. We talked about this earlier. But now, instead of just getting one of those wins in the could-be wins section, you got to win at least 3 of these matchups to get to 12-5. You just got to win one of them to get to 10-7. Now you got to win 3 to get to 12-5 and win the division. And listen, could the Steelers win 3 here? Absolutely. This Browns game this week, very winnable football game. You could probably split against the Cincinnati Bengals at least one of those games, or you can beat the Bengals at least once. And then I think you can beat the Ravens on the road in Week 18. You did it last year. The Ravens do not play well against the Steelers defense. I could totally see the Steelers pulling out 3 wins here. And if you win all those should-be games and you don't fall into a trap, you're sitting at 12-5, and you might actually pull off one of the craziest things I've ever seen in sports. Winning this division with this football team would be absolutely an accomplishment and one of the greatest coaching jobs of head coach Mike Tomlin's career. Now, let me know down in the comment section. It's crystal ball time. Look into those crystal balls of yours and let me know. Will the Steelers win the AFC North? Type yes or type no. What do you guys think? Let me know down there in the comment section. So now finally here, I want to talk about the Steelers rooting guide here in Week 11. Which teams should you be rooting for here in Week 11? Of course, you got to be cheering for the Steelers over the Browns, but you also have to be cheering for the Bengals over the Ravens on Thursday Night Football. I know you don't want to cheer for the Bengals, but hey, just cheer against the Ravens. How about that? Then you can cheer for the Packers over the Chargers, a team that's looking to try to make the playoffs here. The Dolphins over the Raiders, the Cardinals over the Texans, and the Jets over the Buffalo Bills. All right, now I do want to talk a little bit about this week's matchups in the AFC North. The Bengals, of course, are traveling to the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football. Listen, this is going to be a really highly contested football game. I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals are a damn good football team. I think they're probably going to be a wild card team in the AFC this year, and they're going to be dangerous from that spot when the playoffs come around. But, man, Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, that defense is rolling too. This is going to be a really fun matchup to watch. And if the Ravens win this game, I think that the Bengals are probably out of it in terms of AFC North contention. And then, of course, we got Week 11 here, Steelers versus the Browns. No Deshaun Watson. It's going to be DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the rookie out of UCLA, starting for the Cleveland Browns. They don't have either of their starting offensive tackles, so you know Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt are licking their chops right now. If you want to see my full preview of this matchup, it's currently up on the Steelers Talk YouTube channel. I'm going to put the link of that video in the comments and description of today's show. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Help us beat the Browns right now. Again, try it out for a week. I guarantee you're going to love the content here if you love the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you'll help us beat the Browns here in Week 11. All right, we got Elliptic Sixer. He says, let's go Steelers Nation. Get those likes in for the best Steelers coverage
Can we get to
Anyway.
100 likes before we cut off the stream?
Yeah, let's get to 100 likes before we cut things off here, man. We need 7 more likes. Can we get there? And by the way, Elliptic Sixer, I want to. We've come up with a new song for you, my friends.
do.
So every time you super chat, we're gonna start singing this song. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Elliptic Sixer. 10, 9, 8, 7, Elliptic Sixer. Sixer, 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 Sixer.
Let's ride.
Elliptic, I hope you like your customized a super chat sticker
Yes.
that we made for you, my friend. I think that you are a real one. You've done a ton for this channel. Thank you so much for all of your support. And thank you to all the support of all the Yinzers that stopped by today, man. If you're a real one and you made it to the end of today's show, I want you to type real one down in the chat and we'll give you a shout out here to
I believe we owe an O Canada as well.
We do owe an O Canada. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Oh, Canada, you dumb and stupid man. All know you suck except for Mike Tomlin. With burning hearts we see you suck. Calling jet sweeps 1, 2, 3. From far and wide, oh Canada, we share our hate for thee. F-U-C-K, Canada. I love it, man. Thank you so much to Elliptic 6. So let's give some shout-outs here. Shout out to David Sterling. Shout out to B. Hagan. Shout out to Steve. Shout out to Cassie Voth. Shout out to Hot Rod. Stephen Cornfield, Ryan Franklin, Ian Young, Matt Hyde.
The real ones.
Steelers Dad, Condemn. You guys are the real ones, man. DJ KJ. Thank you guys so much. We're going to be going live an hour of pregame coverage, so 12 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday for the Cleveland Browns game this weekend. F the Browns. F the Browns. F the Browns. You better believe you're going to see a lot of that this weekend, Coop. I can't wait to get things going. We're also going to be doing a super chat battle with the Cleveland Browns. So to any of the Black Diamonds out there, any of the real ones out there, we cannot lose that super chat battle to the Browns this week.
There's only one way we can end this
We
show.
can't do it, all right? So make sure you get those PITs, spam it in the chat, and until next time, people, here we go, Steelers, here we go. Here we go, Steelers, here we go. Here we go, Steelers, here we go.
We'll see you guys on Sunday, Yins Nation. Let's go!
Thank you guys so much for your support. We'll see you on Sunday, and until next time.